Welcome to Wand and Crown. I'm Haley. That is Keeley. Today we are going to be talking about the Disney dining plan, which is back and better than ever. With Disney at Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando. So this is just kind of going to be a quick brief overview of the Disney dining plan, because full disclosure, neither one of us have used it. But that's because it doesn't necessarily make sense for everyone. Doesn't make sense for us. It might not make sense for you, but it might make sense for your family. So that is why we want to do an episode on it, to just kind of give you an overview of what it includes, and you can make the decision for yourself, or we can help you make the decision.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people get overwhelmed with it. I find there's people who they're like, yeah, let's just do it. Or they're like, I don't know the first thing about it. It seems like it's too much. So I think it's not as confusing as it seems. And I think, again, like Haley said, like it truly is one of those, it is not a one size shoe fits all. It really isn't. It depends on if it makes sense, and there's multiple ways that it could make sense. Do you want to just kind of pay for most of your meals up front and be done with it? Or are you doing it to try to save money? Like, there's just so many different factors to it to see if it really makes sense for you. So we're going to lay everything out, and then you can kind of go from there and see, if it does make sense.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot.
It is a lot. So there used to be kind of a bigger, more plans or more subsections, I guess, of the Disney dining plan. When it came back after the pandemic, there are just two options. There is the quick service dining plan. I'm sorry, the quick service Disney dining plan, and the Disney dining plan.
Yes, I think so.
Because that, doesn't make things confusing at all. Think of it as the quick service dining plan and the table service dining plan.
Yep.
Disney dining plan is the table service.
Yep.
That'll help cut down on like 90% of the confusion there.
Yes. Because it's like the genie and lightning lane, and it's like, why must there just name them different things? I know.
Yeah.
So as Haley said, so you have the quick service plan, which is, I think, self-explanatory. So we have our notes up because, again, it is a lot. So you get 2 per night of stay there. So anybody that's ages 3 and over. So if you are purchasing a park ticket, you are qualified. You purchase a dining and you're qualifying for this. So you get 2 quick service meals per night of stay. You get 1 snack or 1 alcoholic beverage per night of stay. And then you also get, and this is a big perk that I think a lot of people get it for, is the resort refillable mug. So while you're at your resort, not in the parks, you can take it in the parks, but it doesn't work there. You get a mug. I don't have it with me. I literally use it to fill our Keurig because we have like so many of them. But you get it for coffee. But then it tastes like coffee all the time. So I guess that works. But you get a resort refillable mug, which you can fill up. It's a one-time charge to activate it, but it's included in your quick service plan, and you get to use it the entire length of stay at your resort or any other Walt Disney World resorts, but not the parks. I just like to emphasize that, not the parks, just at your resort. So if you're having a pool day, it's really great for that. If you're hanging there the day you check in, it's great for that, or the day you check out. That's when it's really good to use. Or like you just, I don't know, want to go get soda or something. Like if you have a soda drinker, if you're going to be at your resort for an extended period of time, I feel like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
So
when we had the refillable mug at our summit, the first summit that we had, we used it for coffee every morning.
Yep.
And then we would go back at the breaks and get another cup of coffee. So and like 2 before the summit during breakfast, 1 during our break, 1 at the end. Like it really starts to add up. So that is a very good perk of this.
It is. And I think that again, this is where is this making sense for you? Do you think you're going to be at your resort for a while? And are you a big soda drinker, coffee drinker? People in your family, are they? So, all right. Do you want to explain the Disney dining plan?
The Disney dining plan is, so instead of the 2 quick service credits that the quick service plan has, this one breaks it up into a single quick service credit, a single table service dining credit, 1 snack or non-alcoholic beverage per night per stay, and the 1 resort refillable mug. So really the only difference is quick service is 2 quick service credits. Disney dining plan is 1 quick service and 1 table service.
Yeah.
Everything else is the same.
Yeah. So the quick service one is good if you're, I think like Haley and I kind of just go eat as you go, figure what you want to do while you're there. You don't want to do the dining reservations. You don't want to mess with that.
You don't want to have to sit down at restaurants.
Yeah. If you do, because you have kids, because it can be good for kids to like, you guys have a break, you're in air conditioning, you're getting a break. That might be good for you because you're going to have that. Or there's restaurants you want to go to, character dining experiences that you want to do. That's when the Disney dining plan would make sense for you. So that's I think that's one big part is figure out which one. If you're like, yeah, this makes sense, which one makes sense for you. So again, it's per night of stay. So keep that in mind too. It's not the days you're going to be there. It's however many nights you're staying is how many of these you're getting. And you can use the credits towards a lot of different, the snack credits specifically. You can use it towards a lot. So you can use it towards, any kind of like frozen ice cream. So think like the Mickey sandwiches, the Mickey, premium bar, or the premium bars are the sandwiches, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Or like the ice cream bar, any of that stuff. You can get hand scooped ice cream. So you can do that at the,
like Beaches and Cream.
Yes. What's the one, in Magic Kingdom?
The Plaza Ice Cream Parlor.
Yeah. Thank you. I was literally thinking Plaza and I'm like, that's not right. Fruit, single serve bag of snacks, any of their drinks, like sodas, a cup of soup. That's funny. Just
toppings.
Yeah. Toppings to any of that. So like if you get a Mickey pretzel, so you pay for the Mickey pretzel, you can use it to get like cheese sauce. So I'm pretty sure
I pay for the pretzel and
I'd
use the credit for the pretzel and pay for the cheese.
I'm just saying what it says on here because they were just trying to be inclusive of whatever you could use it for. Yeah, so you can use it on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. The main point for that is that it is single serve. So if you get 2 scoops of ice cream, no. If you get one of the souvenir popcorn buckets, no.
No, the ice cream you can get 2. You can get 2 scoops.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You can't get 3.
You
Three's the limit.
You can't get a sundae. The popcorn buckets, you can get a regular popcorn, but you cannot get it in the novelty
Special
souvenir special things.
Not one of these.
No.
It just happened to be sitting right there on my table.
Anyway.
Yeah, so and you can ask always, and I always tell people, like, ask a cast member. If you don't know and you're trying to order something, ask a cast member or ask before you even jump in line, like, hey, can I use my snack credit? And they'll know. They know. Because and all the menus typically have the little DDP, I think is what it says, the little purple and white thing. It'll say if you can use it for that. So
it'll be next to the items usually.
Yes. And if you're still confused, ask a cast member because they know. And if they don't know, they'll figure it out for you.
Yeah, they'll find someone who does.
Yeah. I think you can use this on the food booths at Epcot, right? I'm pretty sure I've seen certain
items.
But I think it's a good amount of stuff there.
Yeah. And you can also combine credits. So like some of the specialty character dining, you can use multiple table service credits for a single meal.
Mm-hmm.
It'll add up. Again, these things do change. Disney loves to make things not super easy for everyone to remember. So some things that might have counted as a multi-credit meal in the past might not now, or vice versa. Yeah. Always double check before you buy the plan.
Yes. Yeah. And that's again goes back to, if you know there's something you have something in mind that you want to do, like Haley said, double check that before you're like, yeah, we want to do the plan. Make sure that you have enough for it. Or yeah, if you need 2 credits for it, make sure that you're building that into what you're planning. And then that way you're not there. And then you're like, oh my God, we have to pay for this out of pocket. We thought we get credit. And just avoid that. So again, this involves a little more research, but if you have stuff you want to do, so that might be another deterrent. Do you want to do a lot of research and try to figure out like, do I want to do this? Because you might not, and you might just say, nope, we'll just pay for it as we go. So that's another deciding factor.
And when we say it could be multiple credits, unused credits will roll over day to day until midnight of your last night, and then they expire.
So what I know people do, my friends did this because they were annual pass holders, and I'm trying to remember. I know they did it once or twice, because what they did, they went when my friend was pregnant. So their whole focus of their trip was literally dining. So they did the Disney dining plan because that's what they wanted to do. Like that's what made sense for them. And what they would do whenever they had any credits left over, like their last day there, they would go and just bulk up on snacks, like the pre-packaged stuff, or like you get a Mickey pretzel. Haley makes fun of me because I always bring baggies with me, because I do the same thing. If I don't want to eat something, I put it in the baggie. You and Lauren were laughing at me because when I was like having my meltdown in Magic Kingdom, like you and Lauren were like, there's just so many baggies in here, and I'm like, in case I need to put food away. But you can do that. You can get pastries. You can do any of that and like take it home with you and like use your credits, because I know a lot of people have so many expired credits. So just keep tabs on them like throughout your trip to make sure you're using all of them.
Yeah. And you should be able to see how many of each you have left, either at the bottom of your receipt or your most recent receipt, I should say. It should be in your My Disney Experience app, or you should also be able to stop by the front desk of your hotel and they can look it up for you.
And I think the receipt thing, because I think when you use it, you can ask them, or they'll let you know sometimes how much you have left. That's a big question that I always have from people, is like, how do I know? And I'm like, it'll be in the app, like it'll get loaded. Use your Magic Band to scan when you go to use it. And like, that's the other thing too, when you go to use it, let the cast member know because they usually do ask. I mobile order a lot at this point. So like, I'm like not doing a lot of human contact. With mobile ordering, whatever.
Me, and I just don't want to talk to them.
I don't. I mean, I do. I love Disney. I talk to people in Disney, but also I'm like, I'm trying to get everything done. I don't want to wait through
the line. Yeah.
So I think they'll ask you too, like, are you using a Disney dining plan?
Yeah.
And I've only been once since it came back. I think this past trip was the first time I've been, because it only came back was at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the first time. So I didn't really notice because I wasn't in the parks eating that much, or like I was getting snacky stuff. So I'm pretty sure they'll ask you, but just make sure you're letting them know, because they're not going to assume you have to know I'm using a Disney dining plan. Or
the other way, because they want the money.
Yeah. So just make sure you're letting them know, or they're asking or whatever, because I don't think they'll go back and undo it. I know I've seen people post about that before. So just make sure you're letting them know.
Yeah.
So, and then
I think we have said this, but I just want to make sure that we reiterate it. If you are getting it, it is for everyone in your room that is age 3 and up.
They're buying a park ticket.
Higher length of your stay. You can't do it for 2 out of 10 nights. You can't do it for 2 out of 4 people. It's everyone for the entire time.
It's similar to tickets. You're booking a package. Now, tickets you don't have to do for the entire length, but it's kind of like it's a package deal. So everybody has to have the same components. Everybody gets the same type of ticket. Everybody gets the same type of dining plan. You can't, like Haley said, you can't just have 2 people do the dining plan. Everybody has to have the same type of components. Yeah. Unlike tickets, you can't choose the length and the stay and all that. The dining plan is attached to your resort. So it's all tied up together, essentially. So that's another factor. If you're taking a 4-year-old who only eats like an orange for lunch, Does that now make sense for you? Will you make up and will you guys eat that? Because you only get 2 quick service credits per day if you're doing quick service one. Is one of you going to use it for a third quick service? Like, it's.
And it's not transferable between people. So if she doesn't eat all of her stuff, you can't be like, oh, well, we'll take her quick service credit and apply it with mine on this meal.
No, you'd have to get, and I think you can only
have to get a separate meal, but.
And if it's a kids meal plan, I think you can only get the kids meal is the deal. So like, yeah, you can't yeah. So again,
there are a lot of rules.
Yes, there's a lot of rules and they can't like just change it because you don't like it. Like you can't be like, my kid didn't eat. Well,
hope you get a lot of snacks.
Did you know your kid ate like this before you came to Disney? Probably. I have pretty good tabs on how my kid eats. He's 8 months old, so that's different. But like, I wouldn't purchase it for my 8-month-old. He wouldn't need a ticket, but still, So think about that. Think about how your kid eats, because nobody knows your kid better than you. How does your kid eat? And again, Hayley and I don't usually get these because they just don't make sense for us.
It doesn't make monetary sense for us because we are pickers and choosers. Some days we'll eat more than other days. Some day,
Yep.
We'll go to the egg roll kiosk in Adventureland and that'll be our meal that'll be like our lunch. And then maybe we'll have popcorn at night. There's no point in getting a meal plan if you're going to have coffee, a pastry, and an egg roll and popcorn. Like,
yeah.
Also, now, please do not have our eating habits. It's not healthy, but no,
that's not smart. Now I will say, talk to me in like 3 years. I might be on a different page because when we go with Lucas, it'll be 3 of us. He'll be older. I might be like, okay, this is starting to make sense for us now. So, because right now he's a really good eater as a baby. So I'm like, he's probably going to be eating us house and home. So we might go to Disney and he might like kill all his meals. And like, we would be like, yeah, this is going to make sense for us now. Cause we have a kid. We're going to stop. We're going to take breaks. He is a good eater, so in a few years, my opinion on that might change. I've been steady. Disney dining plan doesn't work for me, but either one. I just want to call it Disney dining.
I have clients who will use it solely because they like having it built into their package price. Yeah, it's essentially all inclusive. So like you've paid for it all before you get there. I mean, there are going to be bits and pieces where you do have to pay for other meals or snacks throughout, but for the most part, you paid for your trip before you go.
Yes, it's good if you want to know what a majority of your budget's going to be ahead of time, because I think that obviously people buy souvenirs and stuff, but I think the food budget is one of the most unknown budgets because you don't know till you're there. So I think building, like you said, building that in before you go and kind of paying it before you go, your budget's already kind of spelled out for you. You might factor in, let's say if you go for a week and you're a family of 4, you might spend another $200 or $300 on like odds and maybe, I don't know, just ballpark.
Yeah.
But you can kind of build that $200 or $300 into your trip and say, okay, that'll be like for the extra miscellaneous food items we're going to need. But you've already paid for like 85 to 90% of it. Exactly. So if you're trying to budget and you want to pay ahead of time, probably will make sense for you. So, but if you don't want to do that
and you just want to play Russian roulette with your wallet, then don't do it.
I'm a budgeter, but when I go to Disney, when I'm booking my Disney trip, I'm a budgeter. When I'm at Disney, I made the mistake one time of looking at my credit card on a trip, and it was a really bad idea. It was a really bad idea.
You never look at it until afterwards, and then you cry a little bit.
I looked at it after this trip. I was pleasantly surprised after this trip. I was very impressed with myself.
That's because we were sick.
Okay, whatever. Let me have this. So the way that this works too, so right now for cost, so this is as of when we're recording it, so it's probably going to change. So check before you do anything if you're watching this at a later date. Yeah. So right now for the quick service plan, so that's your 2 quick service meals, your 1 snack, and your resort refillable mug. For adults, it is $57 per day. For kids, so 3 to 9, Are you doing math out loud?
No, I was saying per person per day.
You're checking my math. I didn't even do any math yet. For kids, so 3 to 9. So again, you're going off of tickets. So kids 2 and up need tickets. Kids 10 and over are adults. So 3 to 9, I don't know why they do this, $23.83 per person, per kid per day. So that's for your quick service. For your Disney dining plan, so that's your one quick service, your one sit down meal, your one snack, and your resort refillable mug. For adults,
this one's more fun.
$94.28 per person, per night of stay, not per day, per night of stay. And then kids 3 to 9, $29.69 per kid per night of stay.
All pre-tax, by the way. This is like the base price.
Yes. So
for all of our European travelers who are used to having taxes included.
Miles, inches, feet. Sorry. Things we do in this country don't make sense sometimes. A lot of times. Anyway. So that's going to be the cost. So this is where you might have to do some of your own math.
Yeah.
And say, okay, like, I'll put it this way. For myself, I average about $15 per meal. I know that's what I spend because I'm doing quick service. So if I do some quick math, I'm like, okay, I spend about maybe $45 on myself a day. There's some odds and ends in there. So I may end up spending like, $65 a day. Am I really going to split hairs over a few bucks? But then I think, okay, if I get 3 meals a day, I still got to pay for that third one on top of the $57 that's pre-tax. So now I'm looking at basically the same that I usually spend. So really, do I want to pay ahead of time, or do I want to have the flexibility knowing, hey, I might not eat a meal that day, or I might just do more snacks? And so this is kind of that thought process you have to get into. For the Disney dining plan, I don't like doing sit downs. If I'm in the park, I want to be in the park. I want to be doing rides. I do them sometimes, but I know I don't feel like making a sit down reservation every day at the park that I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to be forced, if I can't get a reservation, to pick something else that I don't want to do, or, so, and again, this is all me personally. So I'm like, I know that I don't want to do that. Again, talk to me in 4 years. Well, we're taking Lucas next year, but he'll still be under 3. But like, talk to me in 4 years when we take him as a 4-year-old, almost a 5-year-old. And it might be different. He wants to do a lot of character meals. We want to do the character meals. We want to have those breaks built in. So that's, I think, for me, is where I'm going to find that shift for this might start
making sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to start considering it once he gets older and start actually not just being like, no, I know it doesn't make sense, because we're going to be doing Disney differently in a few years. Mm-hmm. If I decide to take them with me, not just leave them home again. I need some alone time in Disney by myself.
So you will have those times when you bring your child.
Yeah, Charlotte and Cody. I love my kid, I promise. So like Hayley has a little cheat sheet that she sends out to clients. Mm-hmm. I took it and made one too based off of hers, but we're using hers. Hers is really good. It's a one-sheeter. It's a cute one-sheeter that explains everything. So I know, and again, we're just going to hit home again on the amount of credits. So like, her example, amount of credits is determined by length of stay. So if you're staying for 4 nights and 3 days, you're getting 4 credits because you're going off of the nights. If you're staying for 6 nights, 7 days, you're only getting 6 days of credits, because you're going off of the 6 nights, not the 7 days. So again, do that math. Kids must order from the kid menu wherever possible. If there's not a kids menu, obviously they can't order from the kids menu. So again, think about that. You're going somewhere with the kids menu and your kid isn't going to eat. Are you going to eat their kids menu meal? Or do you want to go find a restaurant that doesn't have a kids menu meal so you can make it? And now you got to do that. That's another game you got to play. So, some character meals will be 2 credits, as Hayley said earlier. You got to, and only certain meals sometimes. Like I think Tusker House, like breakfast is 2 credits, but lunch isn't, or dinner. It's one of those, you got to look into it. another one that I see real quick is Cinderella.
Royal Table, Cinderella's Royal Table.
Yes, sorry, Cinderella's Royal Table, CRT. You prepay that in advance.
Yeah.
So some issues that I've seen have been like you prepay, but then you have the dining plan. So then you got to call and get that sorted out.
Or you have to tell them when you get there and they'll refund the card and then use your dining plan.
So that's the only one. That is the only one because it's only that and hoop-de-doo do you have to pay in advance. Yep. So keep that kind of stuff in mind too. All the other ones you got to play is how many credits is it? Yeah, they expire, and unused credits will expire midnight at checkout. I don't think we mentioned this, and I don't know why. Beverages are included, and you get 1 alcoholic drink per meal if you're over the age of 21. You gotta be legal. So
they'll check.
Yes, they will check 100%. I'm pretty sure I still get carded there. Not saying, you know,
baby face.
But yeah, so that's another thing to factor in too. Are you like, I don't drink a lot when we talked about that in our Halloween Horror Nights episode. I don't drink a lot when I go to Disney. I don't, or Universal, either one. I don't care about it. So like, to me, that's not a selling point. But if you're someone who goes on vacation and you want to have a drink with at least 1 drink with a meal, that might be a selling point to you.
Yeah. Because Disney drinks are marked up because it's Disney.
They are expensive. They're like on par with DC drinks. I'll go DC. I think like a Miller Lite's like $9, and I'm pretty sure that that's what it is in Disney. Like it's meanwhile here you go to a dive bar and it's like $4 or something. They're very much marked up.
Yeah.
Did you have something? Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay, I thought you were going to say something.
No.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to add. I think it was in when we were talking about it earlier, but just to add it. So like you can't use this for like the like firework dessert parties. You can't use it for that. I think that's really it. Like dining stuff. I think there's really the only like enchanting extras would be like the dessert dining or fireworks packages. You can't use it for that. So factor that in. So yeah, it just.
Some of the restaurants that are on Disney property aren't owned by Disney. So you can't use it there.
That's big at Disney Springs and some at a lot at Epcot. I don't want to say a lot, but some of the restaurants at Epcot more so than any of the other parks. So yeah, those two you got to kind of watch out for.
So I think the theme of this episode is to do your research. Take this as just a base. Do your research, do your planning, do your math, and figure out, because it really could be worth it for you. And it really could not be worth it for you.
Loads of factors. It's all up to you and your family what you want to do. So, yeah. All right. Well, that's, I think, Disney dining plan, quick service, sit down, all that, and in a nutshell.
I agree. So that's going to do it for us. We will see you on the next episode of Wand and Crown.